Good morning, Mount Calvary. It's good to see you on this Thursday morning as we continue our time together looking at Acts chapter 2. We're looking at Acts chapter 2, the final verses of that chapter, because it's there that after Peter gives his sermon, his speech of what Jesus had done to many who gathered in Jerusalem, 3,000 people became not Christians, but part of the community. And yes, it's both. But usually we think in terms of, oh, they became believers and then they went back. No, 3,000 people became part of the community that was being formed by the Holy Spirit there on Pentecost. And we're talking about that today. I'm going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to read the entire passage. The word should come up on your screen. And then we're going to jump into the verse for today. All right, so here's Acts chapter 2, starting at verse 42. The believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings, to the community, to their shared meals, and to their prayers. A sense of awe came over everyone. God performed many wonders and signs through the apostles. All the believers were united and shared everything. They would sell pieces of property and possessions and distribute the proceeds to everyone who needed them. Every day they met together in the temple and ate in their homes. They shared food with gladness and simplicity. They praised God and demonstrated God's goodness to everyone. The Lord added daily to the community those who were being saved. So there's our reading for today, Acts chapter 2. We're going to be focusing on verse 46. Yesterday, if you haven't checked that out, check out the video on verse 45. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at verse 46. And let me put that up on your screen as we read that. Every day they met together in the temple and ate in their homes. They shared food with gladness and simplicity. Wow, verse 46 is a hard one, right? This is a hard one for this coronavirus. Both of these things we cannot do right now. We cannot gather together in the temple, being the church, and we cannot gather in our homes. But what I want to do today is I want to just talk about the joys of what that means, and I also want to talk about how we may be able to transition when we finally get back to our new normal after this coronavirus age has passed. We can live more fully the way that the people did in Acts chapter 2. So the first thing is, very clearly, gathering together in church is good. It's good to do that. In fact, they did it daily, right? They did it so much, it was daily. And what they would do is they would live their life around the temple, especially if they were Jews. But they would live their life around the temple, and then they would go each and every day to the temple, right? And so Christians, they continued this practice, and they did this with Jesus as the center of everything they were doing. And they went daily. They went daily. Really important, really interesting thought, because we think about it going weekly. And here's the thing. I'm not going to suggest that we should go to a daily worship, but I think what it can challenge us to do is to think about church more than just as a Sunday activity. One of the big struggles pastors have is trying to help you see the joy of living a Christian life each and every day. Instead of just going to church and feeling like you get fed there and that is the highlight of the week. What if it was just part of your routine in a beautiful and wonderful way? Right? Yeah, it was a little different because there you'll receive the Lord's Supper. But it would be so much more wonderful if we lived a daily life. If we lived a daily life in the temple, right? And we can go to Paul where he tells us where the temple really is, right? It's with us. And so it's not that just by living with ourselves that we receive the Holy Spirit and we receive that daily interaction with God. But if we're intentional and we do it daily, then it's so much more full for your life. And that doesn't mean that you have to read the Bible every day. It doesn't even mean that you have to pray every day. but it could just mean adding Jesus a bit more into our lives each and every day. Right? And we have an opportunity to do that. We might not be able to gather together right now, but we certainly have an opportunity. Most of us have more time to be able to spend a little bit for Jesus, a little bit with our daily routine in the quote-unquote temple. The second part is really interesting too. And of course, we can't do this right now. We can't eat together. But how many of us eat together? I'm not talking about your friends, right? I meet with my friends, and it doesn't take much encouragement to do that. It's actually pretty easy to meet with my friends. But I don't need much encouragement to eat with my friends, eat with my family. And the writer here in Acts wouldn't just say, hey, you know what? They were gathering together, they were eating together, and wasn't that amazing? Friends eating together? You never see that. Right? He wouldn't write that because that's just not how life works. We meet with our friends and we eat with them without any hesitation, without any prodding from anyone else. We just do it. What they're talking about here is that the community ate together as a whole, yes, but also gathered in their homes, right? Verse 46, they ate in their homes. They ate together in their homes. Part of what we could do when this age passes is we could start to meet with each other beyond Sunday, beyond official church stuff. The way that the church lives out being the church is that we eat together in each other's homes. Right? Some of you who are watching this know that we have invited you over to our house to do that. And we're going to continue doing that as this coronavirus age finally passes, whenever that is. Part of being the church is eating together. And it seems so simple that we just dismiss it. Actually, it's something I wonder about. Maybe you can help me. Do we dismiss this because it's so simple it couldn't possibly be that that's what it is to do the church and to be the church? Or is it that we just don't want to meet and eat with people who are not our friends? You know, is it the social part of that? Some of us are introverts. It's really hard for us to meet with people we don't know. Is that what's going on? I don't know. I'm kind of curious. What do you think? Let me know, because I am honestly curious of why I've met resistance with this. I've met resistance. We've tried to formally do this as a congregation. That could be the problem. There's a lot of complexity there. But I wonder why there's such resistance for us as church people to meet together in each other's homes. Because in Acts chapter 2, that wasn't a problem. They did it. In fact, the rest of verse 46 says, they shared food with gladness and simplicity. They not only met together, they shared the food in their homes, and they did so with gladness. You know, oftentimes I feel like I gotta pull people into stuff like this. Come on, let's eat food together. It's not that hard. Invite somebody and, try to open up as many possibilities and thoughts and creative ideas. But they did it with gladness and simplicity. It's just like, hey, we're going to have dinner together. You want to come and join us? We can't do that right now, but maybe that's something we can look forward to. Maybe you can schedule it. Put it on the calendar. I know the calendar's moving, right? We were doing post-Easter for a little while. Okay, that's when life will be back to normal. And then the president comes out a few days ago and says, well, probably until the end of April. And so our calendar's moving. But still, if you set a date with someone, if you just say, hey, let's have lunch after church, whenever that first church service is, let's do that. Just set that. Do it with simplicity. Do it with gladness. That's what it is to live as a body, right? And it's just so beautiful, so wonderful. They met together in the temple every day to, of course, receive the gifts that Jesus gives them. But also they met together and they ate in each other's homes with gladness and simplicity because they knew that they were committed to one another. They were intentional about living with one another. Thanks for joining us today. Consider this. Set that date with somebody that you wouldn't normally do. It might take some work. It might take some convincing. But do that, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start to look at the end of our passage together. If you haven't already, please check us out on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/mtcfw. And when you go there, you'll see a lot of our updates that we have. We're doing a kind of a news update each day at 5 o'clock. And we're also doing a live prayer time together at 8:30 in the evening. I really want to encourage you to join us on Facebook so that you get those streamed to you, so that you get more information about what's going on. You can also check us out at mtcfw.org. Specifically, on the top menu when you get there, there is a link to our online campus. If you click there, it will take you to a temporary page where we have everything that we're doing during this COVID-19 time. And that includes what our worship looks like, what our Bible studies look like, and also what everything else kind of looks like. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can, of course, reach me at both of those places. There's information there, but the primary way is through my email. You can contact me at pastornate@mtcfw.org, and there you can ask me any questions. You can give me any feedback. I'd appreciate feedback. We're trying our best, and we're learning on the fly, and anything that you have to offer to show me how I can improve is incredibly helpful. But thank you for watching today. We'll see you next time.